That's uh, that's what makes things easy. At any rate,
True.
we're streaming. I think we are live on YouTube right now. First time ever to YouTube. Hi, everybody. We are Nate and Simone. We talk all things marketing. And today we decided to live stream our Lunch and Learn, and where we pick a topic and we talk about marketing. We want to give you some value and share our insights and give you the ability to ask questions, you know, give your own insights, share what you have with our audience, and you know, take it from there. I don't know. What do you think, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, it's we're here to try to help people out with their marketing problems as much as possible, and educate and inform and connect and all the good stuff.
Absolutely. So you had a presentation for us. You want to start there,
Yeah.
or do you want to kind of share what the plan is?
Yeah. There we go. I got the right background on there now. Yeah. So today, we're just going to start with the basics. Start from the beginning. With setting goals. I thought would be a good place to begin. Kind of makes sense, right?
Makes
So,
sense, especially since the we're about to head into a new year, about to head into
exactly.
2025.
Yeah,
So
very handy.
now's a good time to start setting goals.
Sure, a lot of people are thinking about this right now. So, yeah, maybe we should have made it more explicit that we're talking about goals in this event. But anyway.
Well, it's in the title now, right? Um,
That's true.
I
Can't
put
can't
in
can't miss
what
that
are
one.
your marketing goals for 2025? Because it's now's a good time to start thinking about that. It's, you know, if you're not thinking about Black Friday.
Yeah. Well, and that could figure into a lot of people's goals, actually. It depends on
Yeah,
how well or how poorly they do, I guess. So,
that's
um,
true. I mean, you
yeah.
might think about like what sold well during Black Friday and what didn't sell.
Mm,
What you may have gotten rid of some stock, on Black Friday, and you want
yeah.
to
And if
refresh
you,
and get
it,
started for the new year.
yeah, and if you didn't, then you're thinking of ways that you can, create a clearance sale of some kind, potentially. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah. So, yeah. So, like Simone said, I'm Nate Grossman. I'm with a company called GHD Unlimited. It's my company. Been in this biz, doing what I'm doing since 2022 March. I went down this path after almost a decade in international sales and marketing for in manufacturing, in the waterworks industry specifically, and I learned a lot doing that about how to find your target market, how important it is to know who you are up against in terms of your competition, and ways to bring your product to market and show people the value that you have, that your product has for them, um, and all of which are very integral parts of marketing. Um, but since then, I have gone much deeper, I would say, into the marketing realm, um, starting up my own business and having to market for myself, obviously, but then also at the same time helping market for other businesses. And I'd originally started doing websites and hosting them, but realized that that was a very saturated market. um, and looking for ways to expand my services and solve bigger problems. And so it's been this evolutionary process for me where I have come to the realization that in order to help people with their marketing, you have to really help them understand what it is that they bring to the table, what their value is. Because a lot of business owners, they do their thing well, but they don't necessarily do marketing well. And a lot of them struggle to find their customers, to really stand out in their market, to make their voice heard, and make those sales, right?
Right.
So that's what I'm here for, and yeah, so what I do now, and met Simone here, back in, was it April, something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, and we've been doing these informal sort of chats since then, and we're now in the process where we are opening this up to the world, hoping people will join us, bring their marketing questions and problems, and we can help solve them in real time. But in the
Absolutely.
meantime, until we get people joining us, we're going to be giving these presentations and talking about sort of like the basics of marketing, and make it educational and informative. Yeah. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Well, I am Simone Henry. I started my entrepreneurial journey with a side hustle a while back. I'm not going to tell you what year because then you might guess my age, and I'm not sure if I want you to guess my age. But then again, I do have a chronic condition called sickle cell disease, and sometimes I like to say that having somebody with this particular condition, having old age is a badge of honor. So maybe it's okay that I tell my age. Anywho,
Nice.
I started a I started a digital download store. I launched it way back in 2006, and it was for to sell gospel independent artist music. So, like kind of like iTunes, except, with iTunes, you go on there and you want to find Christian music, and it's all kind of in this one little category over here. Whereas on my site, I broke it out, and you can get traditional gospel, contemporary gospel, you can get hip hop, go-go, reggae, all kinds of different things, and it's all Christian music, all broken out into all these different categories. So whatever style you liked, you could get on my site. And then I also partnered with a friend of mine, and we did a companion internet radio station to go along with it. And we thought we were doing good work, and I believe we were doing good work. As a believer, I wanted to promote like music that's gonna uplift people and you know bring their eyes towards God, kind of thing, and bring some joy into their hearts. But we kind of sucked at marketing. So both of those things failed, and very disappointing. And um, it yeah, it was hard. It was hard. So but we shut both those things down, but at the same time, I was still kind of working in the industry and still hanging out with gospel artists and other professionals in the industry. And I realized like I still wanted to help artists. I didn't want to let let that passion go. And so I started learning about marketing, um, because I wanted to help them to build their fan bases. And so that's what brought me really into the field of marketing. So fast forward, I have left the music business specifically. I am now working with other businesses, especially coaches. So I have decided to niche to coaches, and I will expand. I will expand later. But So I am working with coaches, and I have decided to really hone in on this automation piece. So when I met Nate, Nate and I, we met in a program a few months ago that that really just opened my eyes about marketing, just helped me to see that marketing isn't just about running ads on Facebook or posting on social media or sending out cold emails or, you know, all the other different things that the different tactics that we like to think of when it comes to marketing. But they were talking about systems and automation and processes and putting it all together and creating a whole strategy for your for the full life cycle of, the your clients being with you from the time of attraction, where when you first introduce yourself to new leads, to all the way up to, hey, they are now advocates for you in your business, and they are out here telling other people, and they're affiliates, and they are strategic partners, and that whole journey that they take with you. And so I thought, wow, when you really think about it, when it comes to like running a business, um, this is how this is how you build a sustainable business for the long haul, for the long term. And I jumped in. I decided to embrace it. I jumped in, and here I am, and embracing the system, embracing the strategy from beginning to end, and especially with automated systems. So,
Yeah,
hmm,
yeah, and that's an important part there. Simone just mentioned, especially um, one detail there, one word, let's say, strategy. So I think um, that's where a lot of this comes from. As helping, having a strategy, and, and what that means exactly. It sounds kind of esoteric. It can sound kind of like, I don't know. It always brings to mind chess. People might be intimidated by that.
yeah.
Me personally, I love chess, but this isn't chess. Um, anyway, so yeah, I appreciate giving your story there, Simone, and hopefully other people can recognize something in there, and between the two of us, and realize that we are actual factual human beings, so, and not AI generated.
We are not AI generated. We promise. We promise.
I think that's important. Anyway, all right. Yeah. So we move along here. Why clear marketing goals matter? Why does it matter that we set goals for marketing? Two very simple answers are that they give you clear direction and focus.
Mhm.
And they can help you make better decisions and use your resources wisely.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything else, Simone?
Um, I think they help you to, well, basically what you have here is good, right? It's as we we work day to day in our businesses, having that goal that we are reaching for helps us to decide what it is that we're doing day to day. Um, there's a coach that I follow. His name is Myron Golden, and he talks about like he doesn't have goals. He has what he goes for is objectives, like the things that he's going to do day to day to move him in the direction he wants to go. But you do have a direction. Everybody has a direction that they want to go. I was talking to some friends this morning, and we were talking about like, how do we measure, do we measure what we're doing? Are we keeping track of like our money and our activities and all these different things, right? Um, Even if I'm trying to get to drive to California, right? And I turn on my phone, I turn on Google Maps to give me the directions. Well, Google Maps is going to connect with the satellites. it's going to connect with at least 3 satellites to pinpoint exactly where I am so that it can tell me which direction to go to get to California. It needs to know where I am right now. So you need to know where you are right now. And then you also need to know step by step, what are the steps you need to take in order to get to the destination. So really the goal is your destination, and that helps you to determine your day-to-day steps. What are you doing every day to
Yeah.
get there?
Yeah, exactly. And, I think it's important, that we emphasize the fact that it's clear. If
Hmm.
you are not clear on what it is you're doing and why, that will be apparent very quickly. You know,
Yeah,
um, you're going to end up, kind of running around in circles and not really accomplishing much. So having a clear path, clear vision, I think is very important here. Um,
absolutely.
okay, so how can we connect marketing with the success of our business? And what, why would we want to do that? Again, three simple, answers might be that it creates a cohesive strategy. So you are connecting your marketing goals with the rest of your business. It's kind of like, I think a lot of small business owners, especially, tend to think of marketing as sort of like a nice to have, not necessarily a need to have. And when you start thinking of it that way, there's a certain amount of distance that you create, right?
Absolutely.
It's no longer necessary and required. And so it's kind of like this other thing out there. It's like, oh, that's I just posted Facebook, that's over there. But it
Mm,
really needs to be connected to the rest of the business. I think
absolutely.
that's very important. Um, Doing so can also enhance your campaign efficiency and keep you on brand, right? Like if you are connecting, so, your mission statement, your vision statement, what it is that you stand for as a company, connecting that to the marketing, which is like the image that you're projecting out there to the public about the business, right? That's what marketing is essentially. There's really
Yeah,
no separation, honestly. um,
true.
um, and then doing this also supports measurable success and growth. So you're able to measure. Okay, I know that I did this for my marketing and it got me this much in revenue, right? Which is part of the business. So you know what I mean? Like you need to be able to measure what's going on there with the marketing and how that's actually contributing to the business. What do you think? Did I miss anything?
No, absolutely. Um, I
Yeah.
think one of the biggest things that stuck out to me from the program that we joined together was this concept of RevOps, revenue operations, where the marketing connects to your operations and connects to your customer experience, and all of it works together to grow your revenue and get you this predictable revenue and a consistent flow so that you're never you're never confused. You're never wondering where your next client is coming from, where your next lead is coming from. Um, Everything is measurable. You know what's happening in your business, and um, you have a steady flow of leads. You have happy clients. You have clients who are actually advocating on your behalf. So um, all of it working together, just I think it's the best thing since
You,
sliced bread.
you, yeah, yeah. You have all my favorite analogy here is you have all the horses pulling in the right direction, right? That might be
Absolutely.
that's going back a few years. um, Call me old fashioned, I guess. I don't know, but okay. So how can we match our marketing to business growth? So you want to connect your marketing to the business, right? So how do you go about how do you go about doing that and matching it to the actual growth of the business? So again, three ways that you might want to think about. Your marketing plan fresh. And so that's like you're you're constantly checking in on your marketing strategy. Marketing strategy is not set in stone. Okay, it's like, especially the marketing plan is a living document. It should be allowed to be changed.
Yeah.
You do need to visit it regularly. It's not something that you just kind of, create it, put it into a drawer, and hope that it grows you money there somehow. It's that's not the way it works. Um, you have to be able to measure that, see what's working, see what's not, and then that helps inform the decisions that you take when it comes to, well, where am I going to double down? What do I need to focus on? Or what can I back off of? What can I don't need to put money and effort into this because it's not working. You know, and then also looking at the analytics. Tracking things, making sure that you have some data to back up your decisions. This is not the time to be thinking, well, I feel that, or my gut tells me. I mean, there's something to be said about that to some degree, but you really don't want to be making all of your decisions when it comes to marketing and finances and really like the course of your business based on gut feelings and
Yeah.
intuitions. And
Or
it's
emotion.
or emotion, especially. Yeah, a lot of which a
Especially
lot of
emotion.
people make decisions based on emotion. That's how we all actually make a purchase, right? First, it's
Yeah.
it's it's based on emotion, and then we rationalize to it ourselves later. But yeah, so really diving into those analytics, whatever that may look like to you, it may be different. It may be automated. It may require some manual intervention. Whatever works.
And they show you what's working, what's not working, what needs to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
tweaked, where you need to pivot.
yeah, and that is how right? You have the numbers to back it up.
Right.
Um, your finance chief will thank you, whoever that may be. If that's you, then okay, great. All right, and then collaborate. How do you match your marketing to your business growth? You're collaborating. Now, if you are a business that is big enough to enjoy having a sales and finance department, which are separate from the marketing department, fantastic. You still need to work with them. Cannot be siloed. Okay, you're going to have to cross those lines, work together. Um, Everybody knows that it all, those are the three legs of the stool to a certain degree, right? um, all of that, if everything is working together, then great. The business is doing well. But if any one of those goes out of whack, then you're gonna fall in your rear at this, right? So
That's
you really need to have that communication and be talking to each other. If your marketing is doing well, then your product or your service will already be sold before it even gets to sales, and you're making their life a lot easier, right? And of
right.
course, you're going to be bringing in more revenue and that's going to make the finance guys happy. Um, if you are like many small business owners, the only one who is running the show, then you still need to um, connect all of these together and keeping track of the data, keeping track of the numbers, seeing how it's affecting your sales, seeing how it's affecting your overall finances, having a plan. All of this is going
Mm.
to be very important.
If you're a
What do you think?
solopreneur, you're doing this all on your own. You
Yeah,
have to be that CEO and take
yeah,
time out of being in the business
yeah,
to look at your business from a 10-foot distance, I guess, right? And see it
yeah,
from an operations standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, from the finance standpoint. And you know, you're wearing all the hats, right?
Yep. Um, Indeed. Okay, so how do we go about making these goals? How do we make goals that pack a punch?
Mm.
So I'm sure that you have heard about these the concept of SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound goals.
All right.
Um, Simone, what in the world does that mean?
It means that your goals are actually very specific. When they're specific means they're not these nebulous, cloudy goals. Um, I want what do I want for my business? I want to grow. Well, what does that actually mean? What does
Sounds
growth
nice.
mean? Right? It
Yeah.
sounds nice. Do you want an extra $500,000 next year? Is that a goal? You know, it measurable, meaning add that number to it. Give it a number. How do you know you're going to achieve the goal? Unless you've got a specific number that you can actually look at. It's achievable, right? If you're only making $100,000 a year, but your next year's goal is to get to 100 million. Well, is that truly achievable
I,
for you? You
Simone,
know, that's
I
a
came,
big jump.
as an example, I came across someone here recently. I was talking to them who said they had just started their business, granted, but they said that, I'm on track to make about 25,000 this year. And my husband is helping with me with the books. And he has us on track for next year, 250,000. So,
Well, it's a 10x. That's a
yeah,
10x goal. So,
indeed.
yeah, if you have now, granted, as a believer, I believe that God can do anything, right? However, we are working in concert with him. What are we doing, right? If you have a 10x goal, well, there are some things according to Dr. Benjamin Hardy. If you have a 10x goal, that means you have to get rid of 80% of what you're doing in order to reach that 10x goal. So it can be achievable. 100x, that might be a stretch. But if you get rid of 80% of the minutia of
Hmm.
what you're doing and you actually focus, 10x might actually be doable. Um, so that's what we mean by achievable. Is it possible for you to get there based on what you've already done? Based on where you are right now and what brought you here, and then is it relevant, right? Is your goal even relevant to what you're doing and what your business is about, and is it time bound, right? Give yourself a deadline. It's like when you have if you have 8 hours in a day, the work that you do is gonna probably take that 8 hours. But if you only give yourself 4 hours or 2 hours, guess what? You're gonna get that work done in that 2 hours.
Yeah.
There's a lady I like to listen to. She said the fastest way to get your house cleaned up is to invite somebody over.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
They're
That's
gonna
funny.
they're gonna give you
I just
accountability.
heard that. I just heard that on a podcast the other day. Somebody said something very similar to that.
Yeah.
About how things can pile up and you just kind of like ignore it. You walk right by it, and then
Hmm.
until the day you invite something over. Yeah. Anyway,
Right.
um,
Imagine your boss or a big client calls you and say, "Hey, I want to meet
yeah,
with you. I'm around the corner. I'll be there in 15 minutes." Whoa, you can
yeah,
get that you can get that
yeah,
house cleaned up quick.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the same could be said for your internal systems and processes. You start to sign on somebody, big client, right? And then all of a sudden you realize, wait a minute, I don't have the infrastructure to support this. So you have to kind of
Yeah,
whip that into shape. But anyway, um,
exactly.
that should be part of your goals, getting that set up ahead of time. Um, yeah. So there's the idea of short-term goals, long-term goals, financial goals. There's all types of goals, right?
Mhm.
And being specific about that, um, you know, having it so it's measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound applies regardless, I think, of the type of goal. It's just the time frame there is the crucial factor, I think. And then
Yeah.
maybe with the finance, that might be more like I think in general, like anytime you can set up goals like this, you're going to make finance people happy. You know, they're all about this type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you also need to know who you're talking to, right? So if you don't know who your target customers are and what they need, you need to go back and figure that out, I think.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how could you possibly? It's like we were talking about. You were mentioned earlier, having a destination in mind, right? This is something like
Right.
that, right? Your message is seeking a destination, right? In this case, the correct target audience. You want to be found in the market by the right people, by the people you want to find you. And so you need to know who those people are and what they want to know or what they need, how you solve their problems. You know, um, that I think is going to be crucial when it comes to setting your goals and being,
Absolutely.
yeah, having a predictable system, right? Where you're bringing in these clients because you know exactly what it is they need, you know how to speak to it, and they recognize that, and they're like, oh, okay, this guy gets it, this gal gets it, right? So I'm going to choose them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was having, having that experience over the past couple of months or so, just really trying to pinpoint exactly who I want to target um, as far as for my services. And, one of the things I decided to do was to interview some people. And I interviewed a lot of people and they told me what their problems were, what their issues were, what they really needed in their business. And that was a big help to decide who I wanted to serve, who I wanted to help. Who's gonna resonate, who resonates with me, who I resonate with, who do I want to hang out with,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
'Cause,
Absolutely.
yeah. Russell Brunson says you don't want to wake up one day and hate your business. Like, I don't like
Hmm.
these people.
Hmm. Yeah. What am I
Yeah.
doing here? Yeah. How do I sell this? Yeah.
Yeah.
uh, yeah. There's you're like we said earlier here in our conversation, people make this buying decisions based on emotions first. If you are
Mm,
connecting with them on the right level, you're pulling on those strings, you are connecting to them emotionally, they get it, they feel it they feel it in their bones, then that just gives them less of a reason to choose somebody else, right?
absolutely.
So yeah. All right. You also you want to make sure that you're putting your energy where it counts. You want to focus on the goals that are going to have the most bang for the buck, most significant impact on the business. I think that's crucial.
Yeah.
And probably the only way you're going to know that is if you're actually measuring these, right? If you're
Right.
using the data, if you're using the analytics, you have the numbers to back it up.
Yeah.
Um,
And I do want to say this, like a lot of I keep running into people who are what they like to call them multi-passionate, or people who have like three different businesses, and you're divided. When you decide like what your goal really is, then that this energy that you have to put out in order to get to it, that goal will determine where you put that energy, right? Because you know, if you're a real estate agent and you own a car wash and you're doing hair, pick one. Which of these businesses do you want to really move forward? And you need to spend 80% of your time doing 20%
yeah,
that is actually going to move the needle for towards that goal. you
yeah,
know Otherwise, if you stretch yourself thin, that goal never actually comes to fruition because you're going in too many different directions. I heard somebody say you can't chase two rabbits. You won't catch any of
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
them.
That applies there. But another
Yeah.
thing to think about here too is an idea of what exactly marketing is.
Mm.
Okay, it's not just, oh, I'm going to build a website and I'm going to run some ads, and I might post to Facebook. Um, that is sort of like the tip of the iceberg when it comes to marketing.
Mm.
As you know, you mentioned this earlier, Simone, about sales, marketing, customer experience, the stuff that happens internally in the business. Okay, is also about marketing. Because if we think about it, if you run a bunch of ads, you do your SEO, you have an amazing website, you bring a bunch of leads into the business. Do you have the systems and processes to back that up? You know,
Right.
um,
Yeah, because now your operations, your customer experience part has to deliver on the promise that all that promotion made.
right. Are you going to be able to fulfill? What is it?
Yeah.
What's the word? You have to be able to fulfill on the promise that your marketing has made.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, and that is going to affect the customer's experience, which is in turn going to affect the next customer's experience. Because if they have a bad experience with you, 9 times out of 10, they're going to love the ability to
And
give
you're
you a
gonna
bad
talk about it.
review. You know,
Yeah, they're gonna
um,
talk about it.
or at the other end, I guess they just won't say anything, which is as bad.
Which
You know,
isn't good either. Right,
um,
exactly.
yeah. So that all of that that's happening internally in the business is all also part of your marketing and should also be included when you're setting goals and thinking about how can I make this customer happy? How can I have the right systems and processes in place? You know what I mean? That are going to help support this whole thing.
Mm.
And that, again, going back to previous slides, you're connecting your marketing to your business. You know, it's all one big entity. Okay, it's not separate things kind of out there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
so that's all I have. Thanks for spending the time with us and listening to what we have to say. And hopefully you found something valuable. You'll join us on a future call. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Let us know what you thought. And next time, bring somebody.
absolutely. How can the viewers sign up for that conversation? Simone? What's the best way?
Um, uh, on Alignable, so they
Okay.
can
Yep.
look us up on Alignable.
Yeah, we're on Alignable. It's called V3 Growth Secrets is the event on Alignable.
Mhm.
I think we're going to, that's in the strategic business growth group. I think we're also going to be cross promoting this for future
Yeah,
events, possibly on LinkedIn and other places like that. But yeah, so
absolutely. So yeah, you'll see us around, and you'll see us on socials and on Alignable, maybe text message.
hmm. Yep,
That'll say,
sounds
hey,
good.
join in. All righty. So don't forget to like us and subscribe. And we'll see you again next time.